When it comes to building legal relationships, what are the secret codes that drive the game forward? Rather, who influences those codes? If you are someone who is interested in the human element coloring deal-making, come, listen in on the core values of dealmakers, one theorem at a time. Welcome to a fresh new episode of the Dealmakers Theorem.
What a pleasure it is to have you starting your week with us at the Dealmakers Theorem. Today we have for you a segment from the hottest sector, the clean energy sector. Our guest today makes his way down a winding route in complex M&A expertise with experiences such as having to invoke criminal prosecution just to get the deal parties to cooperate post signing the definitive agreements, to leading a battleship of external advisors just to get the timely due diligence done in a rupees 9,000 crore acquisition of a Mumbai-based company. Please welcome for the third conversation on this show, Sprng Energy General Counsel, Shashank Kumar. And Shashank's theorem on collaboration in deal making is what we are very enthused to hear more about over our conversation today. Thank you, Shashank, for making your valued insights available on the Dealmakers Theorem and for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Prachi. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be with you and to be part of this program. Thanks for that.
So, Shashank, it's very interesting. You have 23 years of your career massively through a lot of different energy companies. And the very interesting part about this sector is that the costs involved are much more unprecedented comparatively across sectors. They're massive in terms of environment, in terms of labor, in terms of safety, health risks. The general counsel are the ones who detach themselves a bit more from the tactical role of a lawyer and involve themselves in business strategy and take a key seat at the business table. But what does it mean?
I tell you, Prachi, that there are two parts of it. One is, of course, so I have experience of working in both the sectors, which I guess are sectors in the sense electricity per se, in conventional electricity, where coal is being used and coal-fired power plants are there. And then I have experience for the renewable also. So the thing is that if you go for a coal-fired power plant, the first part of your question with all those environmental issues do come in over there. There would be challenges with respect to, when the moment the power plant is going to be established in an area, there are going to be challenges because, of course, it's an pollution intensive industry which you are going to set up. A lot of regulatory framework which you have to comply with. Depending upon the location where you're going to have it, whether there is proper mechanism which is set in or not, whatever regulations or rules that has been set in for establishing such kind of a power plant, whether that has been complied with, followed or not. If there are non-compliances, consequences follow. So now the thing is that when this is envisaged, the project itself is envisaged, the first thing is that you have to have all these parameters ready, a checkbox kind of a thing ready, and you when you sit along with the team, you have to push them. At times, you have to push them. Of course, see, today legal is not only giving an advice that okay, these are the things which you have to do. You have to actually sit on the table, explain to them that why it is important, why it has to be important. So it is something where you have to have the entrepreneurial mindset. Ultimately, you are the one who would be responsible. And you have to think that it is your business you are going to have established because all of them are part of that. But you have to think it as if you are the owner of that business. And you have to bring in that minimum kind of penalty or penal provision should be invoked against the project which you are envisaging. So this was the kind of practice we have adopted when I was working with the conventional sources of electricity generation. So we have to come out with all these different rules and regulations which are to be implemented when the project is coming in. We have to upfront tell it to the management, and then we have to have all those things to be seen that it is implemented. Yeah, of course, it happens so because the project is, there are some constraints in the project. At times you don't have sufficient land. Suppose, let's take an example that you have to have around 40% of the green area in a power plant. The land is not so much of available. The power plant is something which is a primary thing which you have to establish. There may be some delay in establishing the entire 40% green area. The kind of notices will come. You have to keep tackling that. So ultimately, you have to see how to, first of all, not let the situation come, and if situation comes, how to mitigate it. So that is one thing which is there, and you have to work along with the team to see that this is something which is implemented and mitigated. That's one thing. As far as renewable energy company is concerned, it's relatively environment friendly, so you don't have environmental challenges over here. In the kind of renewable, the way it has grown up as of now, it has more of a regulatory challenge, more of a challenge where you have like new sets of regulations coming in, and you have to implement them. But that is not something which is related to environmental issue per se. So it is for that reason it is a little, I can say that little harsher on by the compliances are concerned, particularly from environmental point of view. So in green energy sector, of course, this is something which is upcoming, and a large vision. Government has large vision about it, and a major portion of it is in future going to be, of course, renewable energy that is going to supply power in our country. So that is where we are, as a legal department, we always have to ensure that the project, when it comes up, the issues which are coming up is of course at the initial stage when you acquire land and all. Those are things which are properly managed. The other thing is that you have to see that there is a proper evacuation mechanism. So when power is generated, it has to be evacuated. So that evacuation mechanism, if it is placed, then there should not be any legal impediment coming in evacuation. The moment the plant is ready, the evacuation should take place. And you have to also ensure, as being a team, that whatever local issues which comes up, it should be analyzed, strategized, and then only implemented. Because you cannot be go on fighting litigations all around. You have to be a little rationally. You have to think about it, that whether it should be a cause to litigate, or it should be a cause where you should ultimately be sitting across the table and resolving this issue.
Over the years, in hindsight, the other day we were discussing over a call that how your whole mindset shift happened over the years, from maybe looking at it as from arm's length and the black and white of it, to getting it done, to not saying no, but looking at business solutions. How would you say your management philosophy level stuff changed generally also as you advanced in this role towards being a business leader, but also specifically because of this sector?
I have a legal background all through, and the mindset is also that of a lawyer. So when you come, so after passing out, I was like practicing in courts. So you come out from the court, come into the corporate, and then you have to have that same kind of mindset continuing, because you are so much used to it. So it happens that you only see it from a lawyer's perspective, that okay, if some problem is given to you, solution would be yes or no kind of a situation, because you will say that okay, no, this is something which is legally possible, legally practicable, then only you will say okay, no, we can go ahead. Otherwise you put a question mark on it on legal point of view, and then you say it is something that the business should decide on it or take a call on that. Actually, when I started going into complex issues which were there, and but simply not yes and no. There were decisions completely based on the advice which you're going to give, and business is going to rely on you. Then you cannot simply be putting a tick box yes or no. You will have to then think rationally, and you have to think from the business point of view. You cannot stop business. Business has to go on. Now, does that mean that you should lose integrity and you said, no, do it something illegal over there? No, that is not the idea. The idea is that you have to think about the ways and means how you can better channelize it or better structure the things which are there, or the issues which are there. So that is one way. So now, how can that be achieved? Of course, there are two parts of it. One is which I generally utilize is collaborative and consultative. These are the two principles which actually I often put to use. So what is that? So collaboration is not only me thinking, it would be the entire team thinking. So I will take views from that, whether if I say no, what are the repercussions and how difficult it would be to overcome that. So that is something which you have to keep in mind, that business has to be promoted, and they are the one who are actually running it, and they are that is why the company is running. So that is where the collaboration comes in. You have to take advice, take views of everybody, and then analyze as to where you can go. Whether there would be a structure which would be an alternative structure, whether it would be simply saying no and saying that no, this part you can do, this part you cannot do. There's so many examples. Like I just take one of the examples, would be better to cite that. Suppose my one of my land procurement team comes to me and said that in state where the lease is allowed in respect of tribal lands. So they say that we are going ahead with that lease, and I think there should not be any issue. So you better give us a view. What is your view that we should go with the lease with the tribal land? So we looked into this statute and we found that there is a bar, but it's a partial bar. So we then pointed out that, okay, if you're going out, you have to keep in mind that you cannot enter lease with this particular category of landowners, but this is something which is allowed. Now that is something a way out. Otherwise, had it been like I said, no, it's a tribal land, you could not have gone at all. That would have been complete no, and very difficult for business then to overcome that. So this is the way you do. And second thing is consultative. So if you are unable to come out to any decision, then consult. So consultation would be either somebody who is in the industry who has dealt with similar situation, or if there are lawyers who or external help which you want, who can help you out with that. That is the other approach we generally use into such kind of situation.
Very interesting. So two approaches. So you use two words, collaborative and
consultative.
Yes, right. And which brings me to the fact that, I mean, you are sorted with your, these two approaches, and you probably, with your hindsight of your experience, and as you continue to do it, you perfectly know their perfect application and implementation, but you are not alone. You have a large team who are also constantly selecting external advisors who to work with. And what I wanted to understand was what in those people are the green flags to you that they would also be able to implement these things, because people who come to you already come with that energy sector experience. So that baseline is there. Now, then above that, what would be your parameter?
So the first thing is that when you are going with a proposition or with a say a solution to a particular problem, whenever you go out, you already have done some homework at your end. There is some baseline solution which you always come for any problem, which is then you go out and say, okay, now help me out. Either this is one way, or if you have something else in mind or better thing in your mind, so that you can suggest to me. So there is one thing of when you go out for external help, you go with the problem and a tentative solution which you have thought of in mind, and you want them to, number one, either that solution should be accepted, and it should be told to you what are the pros and what are the cons, because then we will be coming to a decision that, okay, we should adopt that or not. Or if it is not something which is going to be rejected, then the other side should come out with the solution saying that this is a better way of doing it, and less risk into following that particular path or that particular solution. So then of course it would be left to us. So if there are 2 or 3 suggestions which comes in, or the suggestion which I have come across, or I have thought of taking a strategy, if it is much more beneficial to take that, then the decision will be taken internally that, okay, which of the paths to be chosen. So that is what we generally do when we go outside. We always expect external counsels to help us out in that particular manner. So that is where the thing is, if the person is not able to help me in the fashion which we want to be, there are red flags. We would not expect them to simply coming out with a traditional way of solution that no, go to the court, start litigating, or simply don't litigate, or not that kind of a solution. We want a proper solution with all positives and negatives into that solution.
Does that happen often? People do take that approach, sending you to court, like suggesting court as the remedy?
There are a lot of times you will find that people are suggesting that it's better that we should take a legal action, go to the court, try litigating it out. But you have to then analyze that, okay, is there a way out besides litigation that you can think of? If is there a way by which you can approaching, say, the other party, or if it's a government-related issue, approaching some of the government officials or ministries, if we can seek some help from them, some kind of representation to them that what the problem is. If it's an industry-wide issue which is there, why should I only be the one who should be taking who should be the flag bearer in that? If it's an industry-wide, let us take it to the ministry, or let us take it to the association which is there for like, say, wind power association or a solar power association, and then we can take it up like that. So all those things we have to keep on strategizing and analyzing that what is the best course which is there, and accordingly we have to also tell to the management that this is the better way to go about.
On the other side of this, has there been an experience the legal department probably misjudged, like they took something to be green flags, but then going with that advisor ended up being costly, and some damage control had to be done?
So decision is always based on so many factors. So you have to at times where somebody is not unable to come to conclusion, there are, as being a legal department, you have to step in and say that no, we have to go ahead. Decision may go right, may go wrong. If you don't have control over that. But the thing is, at that moment, whether that particular way of working, would it be something which is going to have immediate relief coming in, or something which is going to have long-term very bad effect? So we have to analyze that. So you will find that immediately you are going to stay on some situation, but the thing is that it might be having larger repercussion later on. But that larger repercussion is at the time when you can mitigate at that particular time, because that is something which we have analyzed at this. So that is something which we have to see, that if it is going to have repercussions so bad that it's going to affect entire business, then no, that decision is something that will be completely bad. But it's a decision which you can postpone for some time. You can achieve something in this particular period, and that repercussion which is going to come later in time is going to be mitigated at that time. Then it's a better way of approaching that issue in such fashion. So even in case of litigation will bring you temporary relief, but it may have some repercussion later on, no problem, because as of now, there are some other objectives which I have to fulfill. I have to get my project up and coming. So if that is achieved, there would be some issue with respect to tariff or something coming in later on, that can be managed later on. We do not choose advisors on the basis of result they are giving. We choose advisors on the basis of services they can give. So suppose if I find a law firm from or any external lawyer, not law firm also, if I am not getting a proper response from them, I'm not getting properly on time pleadings, on time solutions, on time advices, it would be difficult for me to work with in such a situation, because everything is to done in a particular time. So if that is the situation, definitely I will look for change. But merely on the basis of that some case has been filed and a favorable order could not come, I should be changing advisor. That is something which I'm not into at all. They have done their best. We decided, we had worked together and we have come to a petition to be filed. We had worked towards it, argued it out, and it's of course something which you cannot handle. Outcome you cannot handle. So that is just because outcome has gone wrong. I am not in favor of changing advisors. If the services are poor, definitely I will point it out first that the services are not up to mark, and if it is not going to be improved, then definitely I will look for a change. And I will be upfront as far as that is concerned, that I am not happy with the services. And it's not because that you could not achieve something for me.
Understood. Now I have a small, slightly fun, light-hearted section at the end where I just say the word and whatever comes to your mind first, you say that. The words are serious, but your responses can be whatever you want them. The first one is business strategy.
Collaborative.
Okay. Clean energy.
Cleaner environment.
AI.
Still to be implemented.
Shashank.
Difficult questions. Would love to adopt new methods of improvement.
Wow, that's a good one. And finally, the Dealmaker's Theorem.
Wonderful experience, and lovely interacting with you, Prachi.